Joe Tate's downfall in Emmerdale seems all but sealed, and it may arrive sooner than expected. Earlier this week, viewers watched 3 residents secretly join forces to plot revenge against him, carefully discussing how they could finally destroy him. Friday's episode appeared to hint even more strongly at what lies ahead and how quickly events could unfold. Dawn Taylor has completely turned against her fiancé after discovering the truth about his actions toward Moira and Victoria Sugden. Although she is pretending everything is fine, she has secretly teamed up with Moira and Cain in a scheme to strip Joe of everything he owns. The couple became engaged late last year, and Dawn is now expecting his baby. Recently, she learned that Joe had manipulated the situation surrounding Victoria and John Sugden, using damaging information against the family. Soon afterward, another shocking revelation came to light. Moira confessed that Joe played a major role in her imprisonment after setting her up, while knowingly allowing her to remain behind bars, despite having the power to help clear her name. At first, Dawn struggled to accept the accusation, but it did not take long before she realized Moira had been telling the truth all along. When Dawn confronted Joe, he denied everything directly to her face and even swore on her life to convince her. That proved to be the breaking point. Soon after, Dawn secretly met with Moira and Cain, where the 3 of them began planning revenge. During Friday's episode, Dawn continued deceiving Joe while quietly taking steps toward his downfall. Feeling unable to keep lying forever and finding the situation increasingly difficult, she decided the plan needed to move much faster. As the pair had originally intended to marry later this year, or perhaps even further into the future, Dawn suddenly suggested bringing the wedding date forward significantly. Joe was confused by her sudden urgency, but Dawn explained that she wanted them to marry before the baby arrived. She also insisted she hoped to tie the knot before her pregnancy became too noticeable. She claimed she simply wanted to enjoy the ceremony and still fit comfortably into her wedding dress, though viewers know this was only an excuse. Her real intention was clearly to speed up the timetable, potentially bringing the wedding and Joe's downfall much closer than expected. A comment Moira made to Cain in an earlier scene appeared to support the idea that Joe's punishment is approaching rapidly, rather than being stretched out over a long period. She told Cain that Joe Tate would be getting exactly what he deserved much sooner than either of them expected. The moment likely reflected the feelings of many fans who have been waiting a long time to see Joe finally face consequences for his actions. Now viewers are left wondering whether the revenge plot will unfold within weeks or months, and whether it could ultimately pave the way for Dawn's departure as Olivia Bromley prepares to leave the soap. Moira suffered an emotional outburst in the latest episode of Emmerdale, taking her frustrations out on her son as the pressure surrounding Cain Dingle's secret continued to build. Fans already know that Cain, who was diagnosed with prostate cancer earlier this year, is preparing for surgery next week. Despite the difficult circumstances, he and Moira have been trying to stay strong together and present a united front. However, Moira has been hiding an important truth from her husband. She has chosen not to reveal that Robert Sugden played a part in Joe Tate's scheme to frame her by planting the ID cards that led to her imprisonment. During the episode, Moira lost her temper with Isaac after finding him watching television while supposedly ill. Suspicious that he had pretended to be sick to avoid school, she scolded him and insisted he return to apologize to his teacher. When Isaac worried about getting into trouble, Moira snapped angrily, telling him that he deserved it and accusing him of behaving selfishly. Her harsh words shocked the young boy, as Moira unleashed her growing frustration. Not long afterwards, Moira regretted the confrontation and admitted her emotions had spiraled because of the stress surrounding Cain's upcoming operation. Feeling guilty, she apologized sincerely to Isaac for the way she had spoken to him. Even so, the strain of keeping Robert's betrayal hidden from Cain continued, weighing heavily on her throughout the evening. Later, Cain opened up to Moira about his fears over how the surgery could affect their future together and potentially change their relationship. Moira reassured him that no matter what happened, they would face the situation side by side. In scenes airing next week, Cain finally discovers Robert's involvement, triggering explosive consequences. Furious over the betrayal, Cain reportedly takes drastic action by holding the terrified farmer hostage. Jeff Hordley, who plays Cain, teased the dramatic scenes by explaining that Cain is consumed with anger. Despite still recovering from surgery and feeling far from fully healthy, Cain manages to gather enough strength to arm himself with a hammer before secretly heading off with Sam to confront Robert. Emmerdale continues to show no sign of easing up on Dr. Todd, as recent episodes and spoilers suggest her disruptive behaviour is far from over. Jacob Sugden's hopes of finally escaping his difficult boss have taken another hit after her latest harsh action on Friday. Upcoming spoilers also indicate she will remain central to the drama, with more chaos expected ahead. She is set to become involved with Vanessa Woodfield, while simultaneously sparking a bitter feud with Charity Dingle through a darker blackmail storyline. Earlier this week, Jacob reached breaking point as Dr. Todd continued to portray him as an unstable and obsessive trainee doctor. Vanessa was initially misled by the situation, although Jacob's wife Sarah Sugden immediately supported him and wanted to confront the doctor, even as Jacob urged her not to escalate things. This created tension, especially given Sarah's close connection with Vanessa. Dr. Todd has shown no hesitation in damaging relationships, and her behaviour has already put friendships under strain. Sarah and Victoria were once connected, but Todd's actions risked breaking those bonds apart. Jacob did manage to secretly record her admitting her behaviour, but she quickly discovered it and erased the evidence. He still attempted to take the matter further by reporting her to HR, but once again she outmaneuvered him. In a surprising twist, she chose to retire before she could be dismissed, leaving Jacob shocked and briefly hopeful that his ordeal might finally be over. However, her latest move has ensured he will not get the justice he expected. Instead of ending her influence, her decision appears to have allowed her to continue operating within the village and keep control of the situation outside the hospital. Jacob remains at risk, and others in the village may also be affected. Vanessa, still unaware of the full truth, grows closer to her, and next week the pair even share a kiss after agreeing to go on a date. Charity is unsettled by this development, especially as she believed previous tensions had been resolved. Meanwhile, Dr. Todd is also holding dangerous information about Charity. She discovered the truth about the baby storyline involving Sarah and Jacob, including that the child being carried was not biologically linked to them. She knows the baby's real parents are Charity and Ross Barton, and previously used this secret as leverage, demanding Jacob drop his complaint in exchange for her silence. Now that Jacob has continued pursuing the case, and she has stepped away from her hospital role, she appears to have nothing to lose. After making subtle threats in front of Jacob, she turns her attention to Charity and demands £10,000 in exchange for keeping the secret hidden. She justifies the demand as compensation for the pension she claims Jacob cost her. The big question now is whether Charity will give in to the pressure, as it becomes increasingly clear that Dr. Todd's hold over the village and her ability to cause trouble is set to continue for the foreseeable future. Emmerdale airs on weekday evenings at 8 p.m. on ITV1, or viewers can stream it from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.